Hello and welcome to Ghost Talk. I'm your host, Angela Mitchell. Tonight's guest is an investigator that knows how to do a serious investigation, yet keeps it humorous and positive. Let's welcome John Daughtry. Hello, John.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
So, John, I understand you have cut back on your investigations with HSFL to work on some new projects. What
Yes, I
do the letters HSFL stand for? Because I couldn't find it.
originally it was actually funny. I was trying to create a name about 3 years ago for my YouTube channel, and I was like, you know what? I'm trying to think of an acronym that would make sense in the paranormal field for what I was doing at the time when I first started my channel. It was actually originally going to be about spirit boxes, which I deterred away from later down the road, but it stands for helping spirits find light. And I created that because I wanted to try to help those spirits to cross over.
Fantastic. So you seem to be a natural paranormal gatherer. Do you keep a journal or any records of your findings?
600 plus hours of audio, visual, and data recorders. I mean, I have EDIs and a bunch of other different types of equipment. I've lost track with the equipment that I've purchased, but I have I have like I think 2 terabytes full of data of just stuff that I've recorded and researched and news articles and pulling information about places that I've investigated or want to investigate and just tons of footage.
Nice, nice. So I want to talk about Pun TV, but first I want to talk about the ghost. So what was your most unexplainable paranormal moment?
You got me in a pickle on that one. I've had so many of just like, what just happened kind of moments.
Yes.
I think probably one of the most unexplainable was that's a good one. Um,
I can go to the next question. You can think about it. You can bring it back up when you're ready. I got John
I,
Daughtry stumped.
I think visiting my friend David Oman's house multiple times, and every time I go there, the spirits call out my name,
Nice.
and they don't do it to everybody who goes there. It particularly amplified the last time I was over at his house. And what just happened to occur was I told David I was leaving for Georgia, and all of a sudden you hear, "Hi, John." Female voice caught it on 4 different cameras within his house. And actually, he just posted that footage finally, and I was like, "This is so cool."
That's
I
really
mean,
cool.
yeah,
You got a little a ghost girlfriend.
probably.
So, do you have an all-time favorite haunted location that you go to?
That's also a good one because there's so many that I've been to. If it has to come to a house, I would probably say I'd probably say this place I can't really talk about it just because I've been working on a documentary there, and so
Top secret location.
yeah,
I
top
got
secret location.
I
Um,
got
if it comes to a building itself, one of my favorites was probably, um, God, I mean, the probably have to say this other place here in Alabama is starting to become one of my top favorite places that I've been investigating. It's an old plantation house. Original homeowner was murdered by a former slave. Other members of the family died of mysterious circumstances. And it's just a lot of activity there, and it's just really really cool.
fantastic. So, can you give me your take on the para unity movement?
So to me, the paranormal unity movement is bringing all of us investigators together as a collective idea to share ideas, help with locations, help take cases of paranormal activity that maybe in a state that you don't live in, you find the person that lives in that corresponding state and help give them that case if you can't get to it personally, and kind of just share around and try to help other teams, help network with other teams that helps grow each other back and forth, collabing on projects. I've collabed with Kendall and Vera Welfton recently, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Um, and I've collabed with quite a few well-known paranormal YouTubers, and it's just, to me, the paranormal unity movement is what it is. It's unity. It's bringing the forefront of technology, research, and development, and sharing it amongst everybody in the field.
Fantastic. So, Barbara's asking, what's your favorite piece of equipment? I'm guessing she means.
That's a good one too. Probably my favorite piece of equipment, and some people might laugh at me, is a $35 recorder. I've gotten some of the best evidence I've ever captured on a digital voice recorder.
I did too. That's my favorite too. So, go ahead and tell us about Pun TV. What is that? What is Pun TV?
So Pun TV is the Paranormal United Network. You guys can actually, they're commenting right now. I can see it popping up on the screen. Paranormal unity is just be nice to each other. Yes, that is true too. No drama. Um, hey, my friend Eileen is popping up on the screen. Hey, Eileen. What?
Pun
Sorry,
TV.
what?
Pun TV.
Pun
Tell
TV
me about Pun TV.
Pun TV is the Paranormal United Network. It was originally started by our founder, Stephen Woodard of Ghost Tech. He wanted to start a collective of setting up shows and working with teams from all over the United States to set up events and just kind of get along with one another and try to be a unified movement where there wasn't a whole lot of paranormal unity before. A lot of people were secretive about locations. Now people are starting to kind of open up, as well as trying to help others with stuff that they might not understand because of a lack of knowledge in one field where somebody might be able to help assist in another. So that's our goal, is to provide live shows, talk about education in the paranormal field, and help unify the teams.
Okay, and so if somebody wants to get their show onto Pun TV, what would they do?
You would just contact us right there on Pun TV and just give us a heads up that you want to be a part of it, and one of us will reach out to you and we'll help get that set up for you guys.
Fantastic. Okay, we're gonna go into the haunted location segment. We got the Octagon coming up. Hey. So he heard the mansion calling him from the street, and we are glad he answered that call. Welcome the owner of the Octagon Mansion, John Cushman.
Boy, if that video doesn't do it, that doesn't.
Yeah, that's a great video you did. That is really good.
Well, sometimes you got to get attention.
Yeah, I got.
Oh yeah. No, it was a good video. It does seem to do the trick. It has drawn people in since 2017. It's been quite the ride. So,
Yeah.
the Octagon itself, I found by accident. I was doing a charity walk for diabetes from Labor Day from Washington, D.C., the Washington Monument, to San Diego. And coming through Virginia, coming down Route 11, Lee Highway, there it was in Wytheville, Virginia. And it has such a presence. It sits down in the center of town, has a presence like hello, and that's all it took. Finished the walk and came back and got married and had taken the Octagon Mansion. It's been sitting empty since 1990. It's been of course, a residence up to the 90s. It's been lawyers' offices. It's been real estate offices. Been several restaurants, a bakery, and with all that, they pretty much destroyed the building. Maintenance, nothing was ever done on the building, and it was falling down to the point the town actually contemplated on tearing down this 150-year-old building, this Octagon.
Yeah.
And being that there's only 11 left in the nation, it was worth saving. So since 2017, we've been concentrating on the mansion, and plus with our schedule pretty much being canceled throughout the nation for Dinner with a Ghost, we have concentrated on the mansion, getting that done. So that's the mansion. Some of the history: 1870. Dr. Henry Quincy Adams Boyer. That's a lot for a business card. Had started to build it. In 1874, the Reverend Dexter A. Snow, whose church is right next door to it, completed the mansion in 1874. And from there, it's just one after another. In 1890, the two wings on the side of the building were added on, and there you have the Octagon Mansion. 1990, they added on an addition of about 4,500 square feet for restaurants and bakeries, and when they built the building, the addition, they built it over 8 graves. 8 graves. The headstones have been moved for years, but when they went in there to put the building down, nobody bothered to move anything, which is probably normal for those times. So, they moved the headstones, but they didn't move the graves. So, as far as the Octagon itself, we do Dinner with a Ghost in there. That's the way we raise funds to put into that building. The paranormal has been real great to us. We get booked out every weekend for a year. It's incredible. They want to come. They want to experience something new. Because like we all know, we're always looking for that next best thing. When I went in there in 2017 with the former owners, I said, has anybody ever investigated this place? And they said, absolutely not. But they were tickled pink. There was nothing in the building. I brought a card table in, 3 chairs, and all the equipment. And we sat down. And within 20 minutes of sitting there, a little girl approached. And all she wanted to know, have you seen my mommy? Now, if that doesn't just crush you right there. 1950s, we figured that she probably died of the polio epidemic in 1950. It makes sense, considering what she was talking about. The town was shut down. Virginia had the highest rate of polio, and Wytheville had the highest death. So a lot of things happened. The gal that was with us, an older gal who had owned the building, I asked her, do you know anything about this little girl, the polio epidemic? She had talked about she may know the mother. And I said, my God, she's got to be 90 plus by now. Can you imagine bringing her in as a trigger object to that building? A trigger object to, and you'd wonder if the little girl would recognize her or recognize the aura, that type of thing. But that certainly would have been cool. I've talked to Donna, the former owner, here and there, and still nothing, which is okay because we're constantly doing. Thanks, Brandon. You're the greatest. We constantly have groups in. This weekend we're packed. We have haunted rooms. I'm sure you're familiar with Haunted Rooms America. They're in this weekend. Next weekend we have a group, a paranormal group, and it just goes on and on and on and on. And we tell the groups, I don't care what day of the week it is, just come. Just come. Every dime that's taken in from this goes to restore and preserve that building, preserving history. Not to mention, we have put a massive, and you saw some of it, a massive history collection that I've been collecting since I was 5 years old. Now being in my mid 60s, it's amassed. It took us a semi truck to bring it out here from the West Coast. So it's just about completed. It's something worth coming to see. If you're into history, great. It's unlike any other. It's more than most people can handle. If you're into the paranormal, we put the history in as the icing. And then dinner with a ghost on top of that. So
yeah, that sounds fantastic. So how
Sounds
does
like a
somebody
trip to
sign up?
Virginia.
Yeah,
What?
exactly. That's what I was thinking, John.
John, it's like, come. You guys need to come because
Yeah, I definitely will. I definitely will. I'm sure John Daughtry will too. But
John, it's a different experience. It is, and I'm not saying because I happen to be there. It shocks me every day when I was, you know, I restored it. I'm doing all the work. You just can't get people to come in anymore. So I've done restoring before in Goldfield, Nevada, and and other things. I've built restaurants in California, so I have the background to get it done. But it's time consuming. So when I'm in there working, for instance, painting the living room, dining room's next door, and I always leave the equipment on, and it's just nonstop. It's just nonstop because they're seeing change happening. And with all the pictures, the historic pictures on the wall, and the Reverend, he sees, it's like Facebook. It's like Facebook to us. We pick our phone up, we look at Facebook. They look on the walls. They look up on the walls. And what do they see? People that they know, that they were friends with. And the trigger objects are incredible. So if you've seen some of the videos and some of the stuff for Dinner with a Ghost or the mansion, it's worth your time. It's worth your time to come.
so if I'm gonna book, if I say, okay, I want to go to the Octagon, how do I book? Do I go to your website? Do I contact?
You can contact me direct, or go to, like you said, go to the page. But most people call me. In fact, when I sent out the overnight notices, that we're now, in fact, it's going out tomorrow. We're now booking for spring and summer, and they'll go quick. Contact me direct, or contact me by my email, or contact me by the Octagon page. Any way you can do it.
And
So,
yes, it is in Virginia. Somebody was asking if it was in Virginia.
absolutely.
What part of Virginia?
Wytheville, Virginia, the southwestern part of the state.
And Nikki Ray wants to know what the scariest EVP you've gotten in there was.
The scariest EVP? Oh my God, I'm going to be like John now.
Like,
when I first started doing it, and groups were coming in, I went with a couple of the groups. East Tennessee Ghost Seekers. Are you familiar with them? I think I've sent that out to some people, but there's 11 of them, and one of the guys is really a joker. You got to have one in every group. And we were down in the Octagon basement. Now, the Octagon basement is where, John, you must be the joker. You're laughing.
I'm my own one-man guy most of the time, so I have to entertain myself sometimes.
You stand up.
you have to put all the personalities in there.
Stand up, yeah. So the Octagon basement is where the meals were cooked. The basement floor is dirt, and that's where dinner was served, not served, but made. And a lot of the groups going down there, because there are 3 basements. 3 large basements. It's incredible. And this we'll call him the Joker, was making comments like, get me my cornbread and beans right now. And he was holding a coffee cup. And the biggest response was, it came up from underneath him. It went all over him and everybody else in the room. But EVPs are never ending in that building. Whether it's the Reverend saying something, one of the real cool ones was, when you can hear an EVP with your ears. That's always absolutely stunning. We had a goth group in, and you got to remember it's a reverence home. So they were goth to the hilt. The hair, the jewelry, the black clothing, everything. And they had an incredible night. And then they are going down the hallway into what was his office at the time. And as they pass through the threshold, you can hear, "Who are you? And what do you want here?" Now, come on. I mean, it was that something like that is incredible. And throughout this small number of years, the stories, you do your investigation from 3 in the afternoon to 10 in the morning. You got all night. Groups are now staying 2 nights in a row, but the stories that come out are incredible. I sit there from 10 to noon, just sitting and listening to the results, and it's Angie, John, it's
I can
definitely,
imagine. I definitely want to go. You got me excited. I'm like, I got to do this. So, John,
especially
Daughtry, you have any questions for Cushman?
No, but I really want to go now.
we're gonna move on to the tech part. So we have Ben Stevenson from Central Utah Paranormal going to be talking about the Periscope.
All right. How's it going, guys?
great.
I just want to listen to you some more. You don't need to hear about it.
Just come.
Okay, so when I was talking to Angela about this earlier, she asked what different equipment I have, and she was curious about the Periscope. It's made, I want to give as much credit as I can to Jeremy Jones. He's the one that invented it. He's the one that builds them. He's the only one. I believe he works for himself. It's just him for all of us, and there's a lot of us.
Wow.
But basically, mine's one of the older models. The newer ones, the arcs are spread out a little bit more, but I probably won't be able to get it to work down here. But basically what it is, sorry, did you have Angela?
Yeah, what is the purpose of it? What does it do?
So what it does is it picks up static fields. So you have your EMF readers, which pick up your electromagnetic frequencies, but this will pick up the static fields because so much technology and things that we use today have like magnetic fields. So this helps you more that you won't get the false positive that makes you so worried.
It's actually looking for energy.
Yes.
So static field would be energy. So that makes sense.
And so what I like to do is I like to set it kind of over to the side of me or in front of me, but facing like that, if that makes sense. And what it does is it has 3 different colors. So it'll go green, yellow, and red, but that can change. So depending on what direction the energy is coming from, it'll start green here showing the entrance and red showing the exit, or this way.
Oh, okay.
So he actually has some that are circular that have all of the prongs around the side so you can follow it in an entire room. But this is the one I have, so this is the one I've been using. But I've used it indoor, outdoor. The only problem you'll run into, and Jeremy actually talks about this on his site, which you can find these all at Paranologies. If there's a lot of humidity, that's when you'll run into some issues because that will dampen the static electricity. So you won't be able to gain as much use out of it. But most of our investigations are residential, like people that call us. So we use it every time. I use it in our outdoor investigations too, but most of the time it's cold, it's humid. So we really don't get a lot of action from it at night, like outside.
Fantastic. So like whenever you go to Walmart and like you touch the steel or something, everything's shocking you. Like what if your body has that static already on it? Is it going to affect the equipment?
So that's why you need to have
drag your feet like I do.
Yeah, and I do that too. So what you have to do is you have to have it away from you. Gotcha. So you can't set it off. So what I like to do is like basically do just that, rub my feet across the floor if I'm inside, touch something metal, get the shock out, just so then if you're the one that's by the machine, it's not coming from you. And when it's not picking up the magnetic frequencies, like I always have my phone on airplane mode, just try and kill anything that could send out any kind of a signal, just to enhance the fact that you don't want that false positive.
And where can somebody buy this? Like, if I wanted to go out and buy it right now, where can somebody buy it?
So if you Google Paranologies, let me try and get it on the camera there.
Mhm.
Paranologies.com. You can order them there. Jeremy does have, I guess you could call it like a warning whenever you do buy something from him, because it is just him. He asks that, like, are you sure you want this? Because I'm going to take your money, but it's going to take some time for me to be able to get it to you, because I have all of these people ahead of you.
Nice. So, John and John, have y'all ever used this? Did y'all get any good reading from this piece of equipment?
I have used one before on an investigation that somebody else had brought, but I haven't messed with it too much. I know it's based off of what, a tri-field meter.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
We
yeah,
just
they've had some interest. There's some interesting results. We actually had a spirit kind of lead us into the direction where he was. That was kind of cool.
Nice. And Cushman, you ever use one?
we actually put it now when we do dinner with a ghost. We put it on the spirit table. It's a separate table, so you definitely get the comings and goings of the Periscope itself. So yes, we use it. So very cool. And we have the curvature one. So that's
The
a little
circle.
different. Yeah.
We're getting close to the end of the half an hour, because it's only a half an hour show. But I do have a question for you, John Cushman, that I like reading the research. I mean, it blew my mind. You did an investigation at Charlie Chaplin's house and ran into the spirit of an angry Janis Joplin. Can you just tell us about that quickly?
All right. So we had just got done with dinner with the ghosts at Charlie Chaplin's, and it comes time for the investigation. Everybody was going downstairs. Beautiful home on West Hollywood Boulevard. Very cool. And we got down in the basement, and we were just getting ready to start taking the guests around. And all of a sudden, China was being thrown at us. I mean, we weren't even near anywhere. It was coming across the room. You know, when China hits the floor, of course, it makes that lovely breaky noise. And we had started trying to figure out questions and answers. And it was this angry woman, Janis. And with the research we did that night, Janis Joplin had lived in that home. She had rented not an apartment, but a room there from the estate of Charlie Chaplin. And she was completely upset because she didn't think it was right that at 2 a.m. we're going through the house making all this noise and racket. And the other part about it is she committed suicide, of course, right across the street at the hotel there. So everything has its story.
Yes.
So
yeah, that is amazing. That's really awesome. So, John Daughtry, you have anything coming up like that you want to talk about real quick?
I mean, my next projects, the main one that I'm going to be working on next is the Moon River Brewing Company in Savannah, Georgia.
Okay.
That one's going to be sometime in May. I haven't set a complete date. I've had to push it back a couple of times already. But that one is eventually going to happen. And then keep researching the 2 properties that I've been working on. And once the secret project's finished, I'll be able to open the house to paranormal documentation and let investigators come in, and I'll basically have access to invite people from all over the United States to experience the house, because it's pretty unbelievable.
Very cool. Very cool.
What about you, John Cushman? What's up for you coming up? Like, I
Well,
know you have your next one, I think February 12th, the next Dinner with the Ghosts.
Yeah, February 12th, Lincoln's birthday. Always history in the house. We do Dinner with the Ghost once a month. The last weekend in March is Dinner with the Ghost also. But as far as Dinner with the Ghost outside the building, we're going to be at Gettysburg, of course, doing the Inn at Hare Ridge College week was let's see, the second and third week of May. And then Civil War week, the actual days of the battle, the 1st through the 5th at the Inn at Hare Ridge. So very cool there. And the Battleship North Carolina, which is very cool.
Well,
Very cool. Very cool.
Is
And
that,
then,
is that the one in downtown Wilmington?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool place.
Been there
And
so many times. It's such a cool place.
it is. It is. Especially if you go where the tour doesn't go, which I'm sure you have.
Yeah, I've been all over that ship. I actually, when I lived in Wilmington, because I lived there for 5 years almost, and I actually got to go into the building where Brandon Lee died. I was doing pest
Really?
control, and I actually got to experience that place, and there was definitely a presence in that building.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In October, we do the Apple Festival at Gettysburg at the Inn at Hare Ridge. So a lot of Gettysburg coming up, but a lot of the mansion. We're strictly cutting things way back. Like I said, we have 50 events booked for 2020, and I'm not going to say it taught us a lot because we were always out on the road. The mansion has put us, in a place where absolutely cool. People are coming. I do like Gettysburg because I like the history of it, and we kind of leave that in the basket there. So somebody's asking what's the cost for a overnight investigation. Believe it or not, it's only $250 for 5 investigators, and that's from 3 in the afternoon to 10 in the morning. We supply you with coffee, drinks, breakfast in the morning, so you're really spoiled. Anything above anything above the 5, it's $25 a person, and you got 8,800 square feet to go investigate. And
I'm definitely going to Virginia.
it's a little bit different. Doing as much as I've done it, it's a little bit different. It's people would ask me, what happens. I don't tell them. The object is when I give them a tour when they come in, because the Octagon, they have a tendency to get lost in the building with the lights off. They do. It's absolutely good. So we've taken to give them a tour before with the lights on before they, take off for the evening. And they, of course, ask questions the whole time. I'll give them the history, but I won't tell you what happened in there because I like the stories that next morning. And they would rather, I think most groups would rather discover it for themselves, not anticipate nothing. And that's what's been great about it because the stories are great. The, oh my God, did you see what happened? Is great. So come one, it's a handful.
It sounds fascinating. So Ben, what do you got coming up with your team or with you?
So right now we're in the middle of a residential investigation. It's a single mom with a couple little girls, and she has both spirits believed to be female, one in the basement and one in the top floor of her home, that have been not necessarily plaguing them. I think it's more of a playful kind of thing. At least that's the direction we've seen so far. Other than that, we actually have a haunted, almost like an entire block in my town that I'm from in Fillmore. And each building that's there has activity. There's a old market, a hotel from the 1900s, old armory, our library that used to be a hospital. Like there's 7 buildings all on this one block. So I'm hoping to do a documentary of that block.
Fantastic. That'd be great. All right. Well, thank you all for coming on the show. We're like 5 minutes over, so I'm going to rush y'all off. But it was really great meeting y'all.
Thank you, Angie.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right.